Alright gang, welcome back to our Island Preservation Challenge here on Ronida Island. It has been a minute since I've done a recording here. Hasn't really been a bit of change for you because I was able to get every video out that I needed to get out while I was gone for a bit of a hiatus there. But for me, it's been a while. It's been about 10 days, 11 days, something like that since I've done a recording on this series, so you got to give me a minute here to get my bearings and make sure that I've got everything under control here of what we're going to do. The problem with today, though, is, as you can tell, it's raining. That's not a good thing for us. Our sorghum field's ready to harvest. I believe that is the only thing major that's ready today. It is. So I guess the question becomes, do we go ahead and harvest it or not? I think it's going to rain. Yeah, it's going to rain pretty much all day. We would absolutely be done with the episode by 1600, something like that. It's not the biggest field in the world, so I think I'm actually going to take the hit and go ahead and harvest this field now. Doing that allows us to kind of sort out the remainder of what we've been kind of talking about doing here, which is expanding this road here, this track here a little bit more. So it's easier for us to maneuver through, you know, and then we can get this field prepped and reseeded. Same with this field down here. Those are the two main things we need to accomplish today. The third main thing we need to do, it's time to sell all of our clothes. There's a lot of pallets of clothes here, gang. This is going to be the biggest money-making day we've made to date. It's going to be really exciting. It also means we're going to be able to buy this plot of land over here, among probably numerous other things as well. So we will see how all of that gets on. But let's get started here with harvesting, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about my trip to a small extent, if you'll bear with me. Got a lot of ideas in regard to some things I want to incorporate, and it's more specifically for this series over any other series. If you notice some of the posts I did recently, towards the end of our trip, we ended up going to Wisconsin, which is where some friends of mine live. They want us to come up for a beer, bourbon, and cheese festival. I've never been to a festival that includes all three of those. I've certainly been to beer festivals, because here in the Cincinnati area we have, well, what is the largest Oktoberfest in America. The German heritage is very strong in Cincinnati. It's a very 100%. It's a very German city. So we kind of embrace that German heritage a lot, and we do quite a large Oktoberfest. As a matter of fact, and if you've heard of this before, there's one other one. I think maybe there might be two other ones, but I think it's only one. A Hofbrauhaus, which is actually from Germany. There's one in Cincinnati. Well, technically it's in Newport, but Newport is in Kentucky, right across the river. It might as well be Cincinnati. It's considered a Cincinnati suburb. And then there's another one, I think, in Vegas. I think that might be it. There might be one more that I'm blanking on. But anyway, there's not many of them, and Cincinnati has one of those because of how large our heritage is in German culture here around here. So a lot of the buildings and things, some older buildings at least, look very German around these parts. So yeah, we went to Wisconsin. Long-winded there to get to that point, but we went to Wisconsin and did a beer, bacon, and cheese festival with friends of mine. It was a lot of fun, man. It really was. It was a good time. To be fair, my wife and I were kind of nothing against them, but we were kind of done with our trip really after like day one with them, and it wasn't because we weren't having fun there. It's just we've been gone for a long time. I told you, it was about a week. It would ended up being like 9 days really that we were gone on the road, traveling, driving, different stops along the way. So it took quite a bit out of us. So we were kind of ready to come home, honestly, by the time we actually got to their place. But we still had a lot of fun. The festival was a lot of fun. It was a little hot for me, though. It was a little hot. I say a little hot. It was really hot outside. But it was cool. There was I think it was like 60 vendors, all of different kinds, whether it's beer or whether it was cheese or whether it was bacon. It was pretty cool to experience all of that, and they basically shut down this whole tiny little city for this festival, and a lot of people go to it. So it's kind of a cool thing. I had a lot of fun there. In the process of that, on the way there, I shared a couple of posts on the channel, and those posts were in regard to some wineries or vineyards that we went and visited on our travels to my friends in Wisconsin. So we got to visit technically 2 wineries on the way there. Both of those wineries were extremely pretty. I'd have to say the first winery was my favorite of the 2. The first image that I posted, the first post I put, of winery, I would say the second one had a better overall, like, landscape view, from where you were sitting, enjoying your wine or whatever, like all these places had. Both these places, really, they had recently put in a distillery, which was kind of cool, and then they had food and stuff like that, so obviously we ate there. I would say that the second one had a better, perspective view of the land, but the first one I still think was the prettier of the 2. I thought the buildings were prettier. I thought the hillside was a little bit prettier as well. It basically got me thinking a lot about what I want to do in this series, and I've talked about these hills that we have. We've got some pretty severe hills here. What am I going to do with those hills? And, well, really, something I had in my mind when we started this series, but I didn't really bring it up at all because, I wasn't really quite sure how I was going to make it work or not. But I think we're going to start doing a little bit of a grape or vineyard approach on some of these hills. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be these hills right here. I'm not saying it's going to be anytime soon either. I mean, hopefully, but I think we're going to go that approach. I don't do grapes all that often. I've done them before, but I don't do them all that often. So I think I would like to incorporate a bit of a vineyard here in this series on one of the spots. I'm not quite sure where we're going to put it at, but, there's plenty of hillside here to make a decision on, and there's other hillsides as well if we really want to kind of go further out. But, I'm thinking maybe somewhere in this range up by the lake here, but we'll see, right? We'll see what we decide to do. Either way, we're going to figure out a way to incorporate some kind of a grape vineyard approach with this series. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, I'm not getting anything saying that you cannot harvest in the rain here, and I think it's because we're using a manual piece of equipment, so maybe we're okay. I think I might have asked this before, and I might have got a response to this, but I need to go back and look. So we may be okay. We may be okay utilizing the manual piece of equipment here to harvest this, although realistically you wouldn't really want to be harvesting any of this, when it's wet, right? You want to wait to, you'd have to get the meter out and make sure that, the actual crop itself is a dry enough level. Now, I really think that might only be specific, so don't hold me to this. I'm sure somebody knows better than I do, but it might only be specifically to, like, wheat and barley and things like that. It may not be sorghum, but I would have thought sorghum would have been a part of that. But maybe not. Maybe not. Either way, we're going to get this taken care of. So, now, the clothes. You might have saw it when I first pulled it up. I was already looking at them before the episode started. The price of them are still increasing at this point. So, we're probably not going to make a ton of money here. But, another $1 or $2 off of each pallet, it's worth it. So we might as well, hold it out because it's still going up. You can see right now we're $19,376 per pallet. You saw how many pallets we had. We're going to make a lot of money, gang. We're going to have over $100,000 just in clothes here. So it's going to be huge for us to progress. And I've mentioned it for the last couple of episodes. I've teased that it's coming in regard to a lot more money, being able to do a lot more things. We're pretty much here, gang. We are here. It's happening. Now, the nice thing about it is, after today's episode, we're going to have really this field to kind of plow up and then reseed, and then the sunflower field to harvest. But other than that, nothing else is really going to be ready for quite a while. So it's going to give us plenty of time to work on our yard that I've been talking about and teasing about, and really, if we have the money, start thinking about how we're going to set up some kind of a winery of some sort or a vineyard approach. So we'll see, but I'm very, very excited about all of this, and this is we're literally right here. We are here. Today is going to be the start of what's to come for this series, and that's exciting, man. It's exciting. A couple other notes real quick. So I mentioned this, I think, in the comments as best I could. I know I said it recently in an episode. Some people were mentioning, the difference in thinking that maybe, an episode is missed or, was out of order or whatever. They're not out of order, I promise. The way that YouTube, for whatever reason, sets up the videos, whenever I upload a video, if it's a member's first video, in other words, if I've worked on a video. I'm uploading it. It's not scheduled to be released on the normal day it's scheduled to be released on, but I finished it. I've uploaded it. My members get to watch it then and there, regardless of what time I've uploaded it at. So in other words, if I uploaded a video, let's say today, but I didn't actually have it scheduled to release because I had previous, episodes that were, scheduled before that. Let's say it wasn't scheduled to release until this Friday. Well, let's say I had 2 other videos I needed to get done before Friday, and I didn't get them uploaded before this video. They're going to be behind the video that's members first, because I didn't upload them until after this one was uploaded. Does that make sense? I'm probably confusing you more, but regardless, all I'm trying to get at is you won't ever miss. There shouldn't be, and if there ever is, then we'll sort through it at that point. But there should never be a situation where when the actual episode is ready to be released, that it would ever be released before another one. It's never going to happen that way. It's just the way that YouTube organizes videos for members first. It's based off of when they are uploaded, not when they are scheduled to be released. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. But I promise you, I will make sure, and you'll never have a situation where something's gonna be out of order for you. It's never gonna be set up like that. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it helps, but I am just gonna put this directly in for the chickens. I know sorghum, you can make a little bit more money, but we need the money. We need the food for the chickens. So there's plenty of food in there now. There's not really going to be a problem with them, but I just wanted to get that over there now and get that sorted out. So we do have some pallets over here as well, which really should be over in cover somewhere, but nonetheless, we do have some pallets over here. The soybeans, we know those aren't really going to be ready for now. The peas, a couple people were making fun of my friend Crustu that he sold a bunch of peas right before I was ready to sell mine, and that's why the price went a little crazy, and you're probably right. So we'll blame Crustu. It's Crustu's fault. But yeah, we'll wait for the peas until May or June, so next month or the following month, and deal with it at that point. This field over here, we decided not to do anything with because we're going to combine it with this sunflower field and make a bit of a weird-shaped field, but we're going to do it anyway. We've got quite a few weird-shaped fields in this series, as a matter of fact, so might as well continue that process, right? So, that field is harvested. That field is done. Went to the chickens. We'll go ahead and fold this thing up here and push it forward a little bit forward and turn it off. There we go. Okay, so I don't remember what this is, and now that it's wet, it looks different than it normally is. So I think that's part of the problem I'm dealing with here. Is I don't know which with it being so many days since I've done a recording too, I don't know which texture we used here for the gravel. It might be more beneficial for me just to wait here. But just to make sure we know, these fields kind of, we can, fix these fields a little bit, I'm going to just go for this one and hope this is the right one. And if it's not, then we'll figure it out later. It does appear that it is the right one, though. I got pretty lucky there. It looks exactly like it, so I think we're good. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but the very last episode of the Competitive One Talent Challenge is this Saturday. So, I think the guys and I are going to plan at least to release the last episode kind of together a bit. In other words, we're going to release it at the exact same time. I'm not 100% positive what that time is going to be. It'll probably be earlier than you're used to. I normally release mine at 9 a.m. Eastern. It'll probably be earlier than that because I think the guys normally do go earlier than that, and it really doesn't matter for me when I release them. I just normally release it at 9 Eastern because it's just what YouTube tells me is better for my viewers, and it might just be because, a lot of viewers I have are probably similar viewers that are watching Crustu and Rusty Money as well. So, it's just a timing thing more than anything, but it doesn't really matter. So I do think we're going to release it, though, on the same day, so we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. Now, I am going to have to combine these over here, and I will do that here in just a second. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit first here, and then we'll utilize the create fields and clean that up a bit. She looks like we might not even need to do that now that I'm seeing that a little bit clearer there. But we'll make sure it's as, you know, straight as we can possibly make it. Now, being able to buy this land over here is going to be nice as well, because we can work on extending, you know, the tracks a little bit. We've already kind of worked on it to an extent, but we've got some more work to do just to kind of round that out. So that'll be nice to get all of that done. So we'll probably end up doing is spending the money on doing that first and foremost after we buy the land, of course, over here to the right. And then from that point on, then we can know exactly how much money we've got to spend for a little while. This is a good day, though, man. This is a good day. I'm excited to see this money come in, man. It's going to be nice. I would suspect that we're going to be near 100, counting the money we have in the account right now, near 150 to 160,000 is what I think. I'm hoping for more than that, but I'm thinking that's probably what we're going to be around. That's probably the more realistic number, which is going to be awesome. Each of these fields cost about 40,000, so they're not cheap, but they are cheaper than some other maps we've definitely done some work on before, right? So a couple other things to note. Many people have been mentioning it, and I've never tried it. But many people have been mentioning that there actually is a way to potentially get across to, well, quick autosave, always at the wrong time, always. But evidently there is a way to get from, you know, 74 or wherever to this little island. You have to kind of... There's a mod on Mod Hub for bridges, and you have to kind of overlay the bridges on top of each other. They say it's not perfect, but it can be done. So I think what we'll do when the time comes, which we're nowhere near that time yet, but when the time comes, I think we will attempt to try that approach of downloading that mod for the bridges and then try to build a bridge across to the island. Now, realistically, we probably should be starting that here relatively soon, although we don't need to. I think I would like to start it relatively soon. The reason why is because the earlier we start it, right, the earlier we'll get the actual house done, which is one of the main objectives for this series. This series obviously is to buy every plot of land, but that is the other main objective, and that's going to take a while. It's not like it's an overnight thing, like I just put it down and it's done. It's going to take multiple months, right? And, you know, being able to get started on that a little bit probably makes a lot of sense. So we're going to kind of focus on doing that here by the end of the calendar year for this series. So end-game calendar year, I should say. That's going to be kind of our goal here. So hopefully we're able to accomplish that and be successful with that, I guess is what I should say. We've got a decent amount of stones, although I did get rid of quite a few there with a mistake earlier on. But we do have some stones, and we're going to continue to get these stones, right? There's lots and lots of stones in here. So I'm not too concerned about that. The tree thing is going to be a bit annoying. I've got to buy a planter, because every time I knock down a tree, I've got to replant trees again. That's part of the rules of the series, the preservation portion of that series specifically. So I've got to get that going as well, which the planters are not cheap, right? They're not cheap. Now, you could always argue, well, you could just, you know, buy it and then resell it, and you're right, I could. But, you know, I'm going to be using it so much, it probably makes more sense just for us to be able to buy it outright. So maybe we'll get lucky and it'll pop in the used market at some point. But, yeah, there's still not really anything. I guess the hoe maybe, but not really much in there for us. At least not right now. We're plowing up the field pretty much every single time, so not really going to worry about that too much. Also, the grass field over here, a lot of you mentioned, you know, somebody told me that I should put the grass down because I'll get more fertilizer. The only way you do that is if you have the grass roller. We currently don't have the grass roller. Eventually, we will have that. So right now, what I've done over there with the grass, it's really not going to give me anything extra than what the oilseed radish would give me. And the oilseed radish obviously grows a little bit quicker. So we're going to go back to the oilseed radish as we move forward here until we get a grass roller. Now, you could say all this money we're going to get, we could absolutely get a grass roller. And you're probably right. We probably could. Maybe we do. But if we don't, for whatever reason, until we do, we'll go back to the oilseed radish and then eventually go to that approach. I've rambled for a long, long time here, gang. What are we going to put in these fields? That's the next question. I don't know. I think for this field, I'd like to do... I I don't know, maybe something a little bit different again. Maybe like green beans or spinach or something like that. Maybe we put that in this field, the smaller field here. Something that, you know, the harvesters for are really, really expensive, right? So we keep the, you know, the stuff that has really expensive harvesters, with the exception of our cotton, of course, to, you know, some of these smaller fields. Maybe we do that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think we go that approach. It probably is the best way to go. So yeah, I think maybe we go that approach. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll do spinach or green beans. We've got some peas over there, so we'll hold off on the peas. We'll just kind of rotate those 3 around maybe in this field. Yeah, I like that idea. So we'll do that, and we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I've rambled on for a while, so we'll get that in there. That far field down in the distance, you know, maybe we just keep it another sorghum field, maybe? Or maybe we do sunflowers down there since we're going to combine this. I don't know. I'll think about it. We'll figure it out in the middle of this upcoming time lapse I'm getting ready to jump into. We'll figure it out. But, yeah, let's get started on getting all of this in the ground here. Although, having said that, well, maybe our seeder can do it. We've got a seeder and a planter, so one of them should be able to put spinach or green beans in the ground here, right? One of them should be able to. So we'll figure it out. Let's get into it. Happy to be back, gang. We've got a lot more to talk about as soon as well. Maybe not specifically on this series. Maybe I'll hold off a little bit more for the Triple Threat Challenge tomorrow. Who knows? But we've got a lot to do, a lot to talk about. So let's get into getting some of that work done first and foremost. All right, well, we're making progress here, gang. It's slow and steady, but we're making progress. I've had to look at things a lot more than I normally would. I mentioned to you I'm a little rusty, and it's the truth. And yeah, we're just getting ourselves back in the groove here. And evidently we need some gas here for the Fiat, and we also need to look at the service. I don't know for sure if it's the Fiat or the drill or both. It could be both. But we need to look at that as well. Also, I mentioned, you know, we're going to put X crop in the fields here. Well, realistically, we need to put the oilseed radish in first. I didn't mention that prior, and I should have, so I'm fixing that now. I'm sure somebody probably said something in the comments about that as well. But anyway, you know, we're fixing that now. We're getting the oilseed radish in, and then after the oilseed radish is ready, which will be next month, we'll put in what I talked about. So a little bit more to do, I guess, next month than I initially let on because of the oilseed radish here. That's okay. We're almost done here. We'll get this done real quick, and then we will... well, first of all, we're going to take a look and see which one has the worst maintenance issue here. I think it's going to be the tractor over the drill, but it could be the drill, like I said. If it's the drill, we'll drive both of them down there to the service station there and get them serviced. If it's just the tractor, we'll wait and bring all of the clothes down there and do it at that point. So we'll come over here. I'm going to unhook real quick, and we'll just see if the maintenance jumps up at all. It kind of seems like both there, you know? We can figure it out by going into here, though, to be fair. Which is really where I should go the first time, I guess. 98%. So it is definitely not the case, drill, which I didn't think it was going to be. But you never know, right? You never know. So let's go take this back. Let's get the long trailer. Let's get all of the clothes thrown up onto that trailer. And we'll go sell them. We probably have some wool over there as well to collect and bring over here to Grandma's Knitwear. I'm not too concerned about it right now. There's probably not a ton yet. But we should be reproducing sheep here soon if it hasn't already happened. It may have happened already. The nice thing right now about those sheep is I really have so much grass over there. I've kind of just been able to, you know, put them in there and then kind of forget about them, right? We didn't buy that many sheep, to be fair, at the beginning, but there's so much grass over there that I really don't even have to focus or worry about them because the pen we put in does not require us to water them at all. It already has a water feature installed, so super easy to maintenance those guys. There's really nothing to do. Alright, so let's grab the trailer here. I do need to touch up this a little bit more. I'll do that a little bit later on here. Depending on how much time we have, we might get started on working on the yard area over here, although I don't want to go too extreme with it, but at least get some stuff down on the ground, potentially as far as, you know, some gravel, etc. Maybe we even place down the palletizer. Maybe. And then depending on, you know, all of that, there's a chance that we could, in theory, buy a harvester as well. And I'm not sure that's the money, you know, well spent right now. It might be better for us to kind of continue on with what we've been doing, which is utilizing the manual harvesters. And honestly, some of these things, like the cotton, we're going to have to continue to do that anyway, but you get what I mean, though, right? I don't know why I'm trying to put these. I'm so used to stacking things as tight and small, compact as possible because of the one-tile challenge. I really don't need to be doing that anymore. There's plenty of room on this thing for this, so let's just go throw them up there and go sell them. See, we don't need to. Doesn't need to be perfect. Come on now. Also, one quick thing, talking about the clothes area here. A lot of you mentioned, and rightfully so, the problem with the trailer is that the actual spawn point, or the part specifically for Grandma's Knitwear with that trailer, is it's too high. When we had the sand, we were sinking down below, so it was hitting that mark just ever so slightly. So really it's because we changed it from sand to this gravel-like texture that is causing the biggest issue there. So it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it now. I'm not worrying about selling the crickets or anything right now, although I probably should throw them on there. I'm not really focusing on those right now. I want to see truly how much money we get out of just the clothes alone. Now, we are going to service the tractor first and gas the tractor. We're going to fill the tractor up with gas first and foremost, and then we'll get our base number there, and we'll see really how much money we ended up getting here. and what that puts us at money-wise. Like I mentioned, the odds are today, not even the odds are, today our main goal here is to buy 71 and get started on that. There are going to be other fields we want to buy for the grapes I was talking about. Like I said, I'm probably going to leave them up in here, 51, 61, but we'll see. That's probably a future, near future objective here versus today's objective. And again, not even probably, that is a near future objective. I'm tired, gang. I'm going to tell you that right now, and that might be the reason why I'm fumbling a little bit here, because yesterday I drove all the way back from Wisconsin, and it was a long drive, man. Big, massive storm we drove through the whole way here, so it was not fun. So 135,880, that got us to 165,324. I did the opposite of what I said I was going to do, but that's all right. I forgot that they automatically sell on there if they're strapped down on this map. I didn't think it would, but it did, so it's fine. So we're at 165,324. That's good, man. I said I wanted to be about 150, and we're better than that, so cannot really complain, right? All right, so we'll repair that. I'm not repainting it. There's no real reason to repaint it, at least not until we're ready to go and sell this, if we go and sell it. There's no guarantee we're going to do that either. Okay, so that is electric. Where is the gas? I guess it's back there, I guess. Or maybe it's here. Yeah, it's here. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we have 161,782. Really, I'm going to say we have 150. I want to keep some money in the bank account, as I've mentioned. Still nothing else has popped up out here, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll head on back, and I'll see you at the yard, or the temporary yard, and we'll start buying the land to actually start on our big yard. Okay, we're back at the yard here. Let's buy plot 71. Perfect. All right, so this is going to be our main yard area, right? I mentioned that before. This is going to be our main yard area. Now, it's, there's going to be some area over here that's on the side of this hill, which really we can't do anything with, right? But if we imagine, this being the yard, if I was to remove these greenhouses, which I have a high likelihood that I'm going to at some point, if we expanded this all the way down to here, that is the yard area from there and all the way over to here, up to the tree line, basically, right? Now, the grape and the vineyards, the more I look at this, the more I like the idea of having the vineyards kind of run sideways against the edge here of this hill and up by the water here. And then maybe we make a little bit of a mini yard down here by the water, the processing plant, whatever it may be, right, for the grapes. Maybe we even make a few other things over here just to add a little bit more realism to it, I don't know. We'll see. But I do like that idea of the grapes being here, so I think that's what we're going to do. We still can take this land here and expand this way against the edge here for some regular crop fields, but up against the hills here, we can have some grapes put on the side of the valley here, and then design around that, if you will. So anyway, yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is we'll start working on here on expanding this out a little bit. I think I'm going to kind of go with this color here, maybe across the board now, although it doesn't really provide a whole lot of relief there. It's going to be too much probably, so maybe I'll think about something else. I don't know, but let's at least get some of the track put in here that we've been talking about doing now that we have this piece of land, and then that will help define everything else, right? This is the one we were using? Was this it? It was not that. I don't remember which one it was. Wasn't that either. Also, since the update, this map is now doing the same thing that the Triple Threat Challenge map was doing, where it rains and then randomly it just stops raining, even though it's still raining. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm not sure I understand why that happens, but it is happening. Okay, none of those. Which one is it then? I've already lost track of which one it was. Was it this one? Nope. Oh, that's more mud. It's none of these. Where did we lose? How did we lose this? How did we lose this? I literally just put it down a few minutes ago. How did we lose this? Here we go. This is it. Okay, we got it. This is it. Alright, that should fix that. And then we just got to kind of take it over here and do the same thing. So, let's think about this for a minute here. This also doesn't probably need to be as wide as it is, but although maybe for turning it probably should be. I don't know. This is going to be pretty wide, though. We already know that for a fact, right? We said that already. We said we were going to make this a large, large, large area. So, something like that. And then over to there, maybe? Is that big enough? I think so. Now, the problem with this being, you know, using this sizing here is it will be a lot easier for me to make mistakes here, which I'm trying my best not to do. So I think I'm just going to be safe to drop it down a little bit here. Yeah, that's going to look good. That's going to look good for our track. I like this color for the track. And I like that with the rain it changes colors. I like that a lot. I've always liked that. And the one we have in the yard right now does not change colors. So that really doesn't make me want to keep it. I know we've changed that already once before, but you get what I mean. I don't really like that when it doesn't have any kind of textural effects when it rains, because it would, right? Even cement looks different when it rains, right? So, yeah, I think we might end up changing the yard area as well to some other different color, or texture, I should say. Okay, that's a little closer than I thought it would be. Over here it's not, but I evidently got a little bit too close to the edge here when this one compared to this one. So, I think we're going to have to come back and touch that up a little bit later on, which is fine. We can do that. So I'll just do something like that for now until we're ready to harvest this cornfield, and then we can touch that up and make sure that looks a little more unified. And right on cue there, I did go over a little bit too much there, but that's okay. These are things we can touch up as we move along. It doesn't have to be perfect, once again. As long as it's close, I think we'll relatively be happy with it. At least for the time being. Now, we'll notice, I will say, and I've noticed I've had one person, I think, that has been disliking a lot of videos lately. I don't know what it is that you're not liking, but if you let me know, I'll try to fix it for you. I don't know if I can. I obviously can't make everyone happy, but if it's something easy that I can fix, let me know. I'll try to do so. If not, you just don't like it, then you don't like it. That's fine, too. But I always wonder what it is that, you know, you don't like. I always wonder that. All right, well, it looks like we might be able to expand this field even a little bit more now that I'm seeing this, right? Where this is coming up from. I think we'll be able to. Now, having said that, by this point in the video, that person's probably not even watching anymore, if they're not liking the videos that much. All right, this is looking good. This is looking good. Okay, for the time being, I'm not even going to paint this area or put the gravel down this area yet. I wanted to get this in because I wanted to have, you know, a generic basic idea of where our main track was going to be. I said I was going to have a main track that's going to run this way and then up and around over here, which, well, now we know is going to be some kind of a vineyard or grape winery of some sort. But I wanted to know, really, where is my room for the yard? Now, when you're looking at it, it's actually not as large of a yard as you probably were thinking it's going to be. But we're basically going to be running this yard kind of all the way up to the edge of these fields here. So, I mean, if you imagine this and just kind of go at an angle right here, a big triangle, if you will, it's relatively large size if you start combining it with this, right? That's a pretty large size. So, I'm going to go to about there for now. I don't think I need to go any further than that right now. We'll work on that as we get a little bit closer and have a little bit more things defined up on the hill here. Like I said, we're really kind of imagining this and going in a diagonal down this way, right? So, okay, so that's our track. So what are we going to make for our main yard here? I'm not going to focus on recoloring this one just yet, but... I don't know how... This one's like a sand-gravel mixture of some sort. I'm not sure if I like that, though. The rock? What is that? Yeah, it's like rock. It's like rocks that are like bulging out of the ground there. It seems like that would be very, very bumpy. Does it make it bumpy? That's the first thing we should look at here. Does it, in fact, make that bumpy? Or is it just smooth? It'd be cool if it was bumpy. It is bumpy. Huh. That's kind of cool. Although, I'm not quite sure it makes a whole lot of sense for a yard area. You really wouldn't want your yard area to be that bumpy. Maybe that makes more sense for the track than what we're doing. Maybe we should make this the yard texture, although we just spent a ton of money on that, so that doesn't really make any sense either, does it? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to focus on that for right now. Let's get some stuff down in the yard area here, right? We want to start working towards this yard area. We want to make, it look relatively good. I kind of want to put something in here for cows, but they're all pretty expensive unless we go with, like a standard one like this, which is not expensive at all. A lot of the guys, well, I say a lot of the guys ended up using this in the one tile challenge. I did not use this in the one tile challenge. I purposely did not use this in the one tile challenge. I probably should have in hindsight, but I did not. This is nice, but it is way too expensive. We obviously don't have anywhere near the amount of money we need for that. We spent a lot of money already just on that piece of land and painting, because we're down to 118,000. So, Maybe I wait. Maybe I wait on them. I was hoping to put some down, but really the only ones that I could even potentially put down is this one. We had to put down a lot of other things to go with it as well, like a manure extractor, etc., etc. All right, we'll hold off on that. We'll hold off on that for the time being. So, palletizer. We've talked about this for a long time. It is time to put this palletizer down. I think I passed it. There it is. Palletizer. $1,000. I'd like to have it like under some kind of cover, though. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be undercover, and I guess later on we could always move it again. We've moved a lot of things already, right? So, how does this whole thing... Okay, so the dumping's there. So if we're dumping it there... Well, I'll tell you what. Let me go off camera a bit here. Let me put down a few sheds, figure out where I want some of that stuff to go, and then maybe we'll figure out the palletizer from there. I just think, putting down palletizer first may not be the smartest play. Maybe I should put down some buildings first. Okay, so I spent some money, quite a lot of money, as a matter of fact. I've got 2 sheds down, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they were relatively expensive. But I also put down something I had planned on doing for a long time. And basically this is a manure heap, but we're not going to be utilizing this as a manure heap. I hope it works. I haven't tested it. Maybe I should have, but I haven't tested it. So I hope it works, but realistically what I'm going to be doing with this is dumping all of our stones into here. And this will be our stone storage for the time being, at least for this quadrant of the map. And then eventually, obviously, we're going to have more, right? Because we're going to have them all over the place. And like I said, we'll have 3 or 4 yards kind of scattered around, just because it's going to make it easier on ourselves versus having to dry them all the way across the map. Or at least the areas that we're kind of working in, right? So that is going to be our stone area, though. I hope it works. I think it will. Really, there shouldn't be a reason why I can't dump the stones there. Eventually we'll have some kind of like a telehandler or a wheel loader or something where we can pick the stones up with a bucket. At least that's hopefully the goal, so I don't have to, utilize the stone collector every time, and really it might be kind of difficult to get them out of there at this point with that back wall. But nonetheless, that's what we went with. I need to paint the ground, like we talked about. I think this gives us plenty of room. I kind of like the look of this going by here. So we went with that there. We open this up here. Please, thank you. Not really much in here, but there's room in here for us to put some stuff in, right? Obviously, we'd have to stack it on top of each other, so ideally, this would be probably more utilized for some kind of like a harvester, is what I'm thinking, at least for this, is to kind of store the harvester in here. Once we get the palletizer down, which, again, I don't have the palletizer down at current, but eventually we will. Evidently, I need to be way in here for it to shut the door. There we go. Plenty of room between that shed and this shed. Plenty of room. We're going to continue to expand this. This is only the beginning, so obviously we don't have enough money to do everything I want to do yet, but nonetheless, that's what we're going to do there. Went with this blue color here on the side of this shed. We've got green on that one over there, but again, the odds are we're going to be removing that one at some point in the near future, along with probably the greenhouses as well. The chickens are going to stay where they are, but the greenhouses and stuff are probably going to be either moved or just removed altogether. But for now, they're going to stay there. Anyway, we have this blue texture here with the brick. I kind of like the way it looked. And then it's just basically an open air, well, it's a closed shed, but one side is an open air. There's no door or anything on it of any sort to kind of protect it there. And kind of got it backed up or nestled up here nicely on the edge of the corn here. So pretty happy with how all of this turned out. Now, it is not as flat as I had hoped. And you probably notice here on the ground that the grass has kind of been removed. Well, that's because, I did the old trick of placing it down, then removing it immediately, then taking the land that it smoothed out, extending that out, and then smoothing out from the main area here up into this. The reason why I went that approach instead of just making the whole thing exactly flat all the way across the board is because, well, 1, we don't have enough money to do that. 2, I think this is going to work out just as well, and it's going to save us some money. So we'll go with it. That approach, I guess, is how I will put it. Now, the things you see here, they're not really going to help us in regard to the palletizer or the silo that we need to put down. Now, the silo we need to put down, realistically, is one of the bigger guys, like this one, right? Something like this, one of the big. Ideally, I'd love to have this one. I've never used this one. I'd love to have this one. I've used these, obviously, many times before, but as a matter of fact, we're using one of these in the Triple Threat Challenge, but I've never used the big, massive ones here with 4 of them together, or even these, right? Like, these are gigantic. I think these would be sweet to have, but we're obviously nowhere near the amount of money we need for those at current, right? But eventually, this would be nice to have something like this. I just think it would look really cool. So anyway, that's what we've got for the time being. The palletizer. I don't know where to put this. I really don't know where to put this. I feel like no matter where I put it, it's going to be in the way. Now, I guess the beauty of this is it's only $1,000, right? So why am I complaining about it so much? Well, I mean, there's not really a reason why. It's just, I hate changing things as much as I do, and I'm trying to be better about doing that. But, sometimes I guess there's nothing for it, right? So, I don't know. Unhide. What does that mean? Well, I guess one thing we could look at here while it's spinning through this is there grass in here? I don't know. Maybe there is. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of putting it somewhere like in here. I think that gives enough room for us to turn around in here, and then we can kind of take the track and kind of go like this up to it or whatever if you want, and then back over to here. I didn't see grass go through that palletizer just now, but I could have missed it. So yeah, let's just go with something like here. Now, do I need to smooth this out? I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to do it, right? It's kind of lagging up a little bit there, wouldn't it? Gonna have to change the texture here a little bit too, it looks like. But that's fine, we'll do that too. Now, the other way you could go about doing this, instead of going to palletizer, you just put down productions, right? And whatever you're growing, you put that into that production and turn it into, you know, pallet, right? That's the way to go about it. But I think it's going to be a while before we're ready for that. So since we think it's going to be a while, since I think it's going to be a while, we might as well put this down. Okay, so now I want to smooth this out. So basically all this stuff that you're seeing right now is the stuff that I did kind of off camera. But, you know, I'm just give you... Whoa, 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 not raise. Oh, I just screwed up big time. Whoops. Whoopsie daisies. All right, well, it didn't take that much to fix it. I was thinking we were going to be paying an arm and a leg to get that resolved there, but it actually turned out to be not too shabby. Okay. All right, I think that's going to be about it there. So, yeah. I'm not quite sure what I want to do when it comes to the ground here. So, I'm going to kind of put it towards you. What do you think I should be doing? I guess what I should show before I move on, because people always ask this and I always forget to do it. I'll show you what mods I'm using for these two. So this one is the S25x17, so I'll go down to that and I'll show you the mod. It is the Shed Pack mod. Bottom left-hand corner there, it'll tell you what that is. And then this one is the White Brick Barn, which is similar. White Brick Barn mod. So there you go for that. And then this guy is the Manure Heap, which if we go over to Silos and down to Manure Heap, there's a couple of them I have installed, but it's this one. The Highlands Fishing Expansion. So that one's a direct from Giants DLC mod. So, and then the palletizer, which we talked about already. You already saw that, but I'll go find it again real quick just so you can see the mod. I think it's just palletizer mod. I think. Yeah, palletizer mod. So there you go. Those are the mods I used for, so far, the start of what's going to be our big yard. And as you can clearly see, you know, there's a lot of space between this and this. Do we need that much space between there? No, we really don't. And you can see there's plenty of room for us to add some more sheds and do some more things over here, right? So for the size of the yard or the size of the land right now, I think it's perfect. But it gives us a lot of opportunity to expand that even more. So, okay, well, gang, we've got a lot of stuff that we need to put in that shed, or these sheds, I should say, at some point. But we're not going to do it today. So for the time being, we're going to leave the episode here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you smashed the like and subscribe button on the case you've yet to do so. They are free to do. They help me out more than you could possibly imagine. Thanks to all of my members for all of their continued support. It really does mean the world to me. If you want early access to videos like this one, there is a link down below. You also get a members-only series that occurs once a month where we go through different ideas that are in my brain and figure out if it makes sense for a series or not, while also taking and incorporating your thoughts and opinions on those ideas that I come up with. Make sure you check out my second channel. There's a link down below. I do not do a release every single day on that second channel. It's normally every 2 or 3 days a week. Something along those lines, but at current we're doing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Tomb Raider Underworld. Soon to be the new Master Chief Halo campaign evolved, or whatever they're calling it now. I grew up with Halo, man. That's Halo is awesome. So I'll be playing through that. There's also James Bond I talked about playing on that channel as well, but I think I'm going to push that off for Halo, because it comes out, I think, next month. So pretty soon. And it's going to take me probably till next month to finish Red Dead Redemption 2 along with Tomb Raider Underworld. So should work out pretty well. But we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching, gang. Thanks so much for your continued support, as always. Thanks for allowing me to be a little rusty today and get back in the groove. We'll talk more about the whole trip that I had and some other things in tomorrow's episode of the Triple Threat Challenge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.